and other stuff. So hyperinflation made basically you could not find anything in the stores. No milk, no oil, very little bread, if any. All the stores were empty because merchants simply could not. The dinar was going up so fast that even with the markups, merchants simply could not afford to sell their goods. The Milosevic regime, of course, blamed these merchants for refusing to sell their goods at unreasonable prices, to the point of when there were boycotts of goods, they would buy foreign goods at inflated prices and then try to sell them for the same. So these were like ludicrously suicidal moves. The worst thing was that in 1993 was a pretty good harvest year, yet the Milosevic regime used monopolistic prices and caused artificial shortages, leading many in Serbia to starve. Pensioners were the hardest hit. You would wait in long lines for bread to arrive at the store. There's one example where people saw someone carrying a full basket of goods, some pensioners, and had like a heart attack at that sight. One pensioner, this is a true story, one pensioner took his pension and completely spent it on bread and half a kilo of quality salami. Got back home, had a good lunch, and then hanged himself, leaving a note saying, "I don't want to die of starvation." Those who had people living in the villages who were basically everyone was returning to an agrarian barter type system. So people in the city were surviving by knowing someone from the village, and they would go and get some tomatoes, cheese, whatever. Meat was a complete luxury for most people, and of course going anywhere was a complete luxury. So you couldn't buy gas at a gas station. You had these improvised stands near a car where you had like a few buckets of gas, usually colored in like some of the most distasteful colors you can imagine, and it often wreaked havoc on your car. Of course, there was no dinar, wasn't a convertible currency, so you had these illegal dealers at every single green market shouting "devisa, devisa, devisa," which is currency, foreign currency, foreign currency. Those were the people you went to exchange your life savings so you could have something to eat. Of course, the dinars you got were ultimately printed and coming from the government itself, but the government washed its hands of everything and blamed everything on the dealers. So it was good at finding other people to blame: crime, dealers, market producers, only no one with actual power. So of course the car, going anywhere was a luxury. So to go to the holiday home, which is about a 2 or so hour train ride from Belgrade, so my family had to go on trains. The trains were completely crowded. You couldn't sit anywhere. There was barely enough room for your own physical self. Often broke down. One train ride took 9 hours. On the buses, going to school, going to the center was a nightmare. Buses were literally flowing with people. The ticket controllers could not get in. The buses broke down, of course, all the time. Pickpockets in buses, obviously. In schools, children were collapsing, and they had to bring like lunches from Greece, like sort of donations, which is sort of like phyllo bread, phyllo pastry bread. It tasted very acidy and had a horrible taste. My friend sitting right next to me opened his up and saw, just like underneath a very one thin layer, you could see that there was a giant bug.